Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar. I just want to give everybody a few minutes to get, or a minute to get collected into the system. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Beautiful day here in Ontario. And we have people from right across the country with us today. So that looks good. So everyone, again, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate it. My name is Michelle Pinard, and I'm joined by my colleagues, Maureen and Maria, and have the great pleasure of hosting this webinar for ALG Vacations, our great supplier partner. But before we get started, I want to introduce you to the specialists, Megan Weiser and Sarah Rao from ALG's special social media team. They know what performs, what connects with travelers, and how to make the most of your digital voice. They will be joined by advisor Mary Pat Caskey from Divine Travel Company, who's been a branch up member since January of 2021. So now today's topic is get more from every post by mastering social media with ALG Vacations plus branch up. Megan and Sarah want to help you turn your social media presence into real engagement and real bookings. And Mary Pat, who uses BranchUp to stay at top of mind with her clients, will share her real world insights on how customizing posts and adding follow ups helped grow her engagement and consequently her business. If you're new to BranchUp or ready to refine your strategy, this session is packed with practical tips to help you market smarter and get results. But before we get started, there's just a few housekeeping notes. If you have any questions, put them in the question box at the top of your screen, and we will get to them at the end of the session. We have an extra 15 minutes planned to go through questions. If we don't get to your important questions or any of the questions, we will be, the ALG team will get back to you by email tomorrow. So we've got that 15 minutes for questions. Hopefully we can get to all of them. If we run out of time, that's your backup. And don't worry about taking notes. We're taping the event and we'll send you a copy tomorrow in your email confirming that you are participating. So that being said, I want to welcome you all again and say, Megan, it's over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. We are just going to jump right in, everyone. And to start, we are going to just kind of introduce myself and my teammate, Sarah. So I am Megan Weiser. I'm the Associate Manager of Social Media here at ALG Vacations. I've been here for about 2.5 years. And Sarah can completely agree with this, but one of our favorite parts is kind of teaching advisors and helping you guys learn how to social media market yourselves. And it really, truly is one of our passions. And so we're happy to be here. And I'm going to pass it to Sarah so she can introduce herself.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Rao. I'm the manager of social media and sales strategy for ALG Vacations. I actually used to be in sales, so I came over to the marketing team in 2021, but I've been with ALG Vacations since 2013. So long time now. And before that, I was a travel advisor. So I really understand what you all go through every day and everything that you all have to balance. And with that, as Megan said, we are very passionate about teaching everyone how to market themselves, their brand, and their voice, all by balancing sales. Because at the end of the day, you market your brand and your voice in order to get leads for your business. All right, next slide. All right. So with that being said, we have created an entire ALGV Social Media Pro course that is in Back's Vacation Access at algvacations.com. Megan and I developed this program last year, and it takes you through the beginner, intermediate, and advanced sessions of how to market yourselves. It takes you through all of the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, from how to use the platforms, the algorithms for each platform, how to customize, create your own content, and what really works, how to develop it, how to edit, how to do all those fancy little tricks and transitions. We take you through all of those courses, start to finish, and we've developed it in a way that makes it easy to learn. And you don't have to go through it all at once. You can stop and go back to it as you feel the ease and comfort to do so. So it's not a rushed process. You can do it as you feel comfortable. Next slide. And I'm actually going to go off camera so you all have the full slide here. All right. So now we have our current stats for each platform. These change every year, so every year you'll see these numbers shift, but these are the current statistics for each platform out there. So with Facebook, you have 3.06 billion users. Facebook has been around the longest out of the current social media apps. The kid is 21 years old. This launched in 2004 and has 3.06 billion followers. Instagram launched in 2010 and is at 2 billion followers. TikTok, as you know it now, 2018 at 1.5 billion followers. So if you think about that, it's been around a lot less in time compared to Facebook, and it's growing much more rapidly. So really kind of think about that in terms of growth and use. Pinterest, 553 million. LinkedIn, here on the lower left bottom, is 1.2 billion. X, formerly known as Twitter, 586 million. YouTube, 2.5 billion. And Threads, which is the lower right-hand corner, which we've never really talked about before. It was Meta's answer to Twitter, and pretty much just like for like the same app, 350 million. So those are really the most used social media apps out there. They all have a different purpose. For sales leads and the purpose of what you all do day to day, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are really the main apps that Megan and I typically talk and teach. So what content works best on which channel? Excellent question, guys. I'm glad you asked. On Facebook, most people respond to brands that come across smart, exclusive, and trendy. Facebook is the most versatile of platforms because you can hyperlink to articles. You can do private groups, public groups. You can link articles, as I said, but you can also post blog posts. You can do videos. You can do regular posts. You can include hyperlinks to other things while still posting your own content. You could do reels, regular landscape videos. It's really very, very versatile. You still have stories. You can do pretty much anything on there. You can link to LinkedIn. You could link to other platforms. It works in a plethora of ways. Like I said, it's the largest one out there right now. And because of that, it has the most info dumped into it. It's really kind of become a data dump because it's been having info plugged into it for so long. Instagram is more of an exclusivity when it comes to who is on it. It's more aesthetic based, it's trendier. It is simply a visual tool. It's not a place where you go just to post a blog. You cannot hyperlink on your daily posts. It's a photo, a carousel, which is just another word for an album, or video. Video is always going to be the leader of the pack on Instagram. The carousels have really come around, and that is where you kind of like swipe through photos. Technically, you can post 20. I recommend not posting more than 10. And stories. Stories are kind of a daily thing on Instagram. It's definitely the best way to really let your clientele know who you are, and it brings them back to your page every day. TikTok is a little bit younger of an audience, and it's a little more fun and funky and authentic. It's less of that aesthetic and more true value content that's funny and relatable and who you are, as opposed to something that's a little more aesthetic and pretty, and just a little more, vogue. That's kind of what you think of when you think of Instagram. And then LinkedIn, which is our bottom one, that is a totally different type of platform. That's not where you're going to market your business. That's where you go to market your brand to other brands. That is where you go to network. It's like going to a conference for your consortia. That's where you go to find hoteliers, DMCs, other travel companies, other consortia members. That is where you go to network. It is not where you go to find clients. So think of it like that. It's one big resume. It's one big consortia conference. Next. All right, so when you're talking marketing on social media and when you're posting content, you need to really think about who you're posting for, who you're marketing towards. You do not have to be on every app. You only need to be where your clientele is and where you're most comfortable working. So if you don't want to figure out TikTok and learn how to TikTok, you don't have to. It's not necessary. So when you think about where you're marketing, think about who your client is. So adult users from 18 to 29 are mostly using YouTube and Instagram. So YouTube's different, right? Because it's more like tutorials and you can find anything on there. When I go to YouTube, it's so I can find a quick show to entertain my 2-year-old. So when I think of that, I'm not necessarily shopping on there. I'm going to find a piece of value content for my daughter. When I go to Instagram, I am shopping on Instagram and I'm going to look for value for myself as well. 30 to 49, YouTube and Facebook, interesting enough, are the top two. 50 to 64, YouTube and Facebook again. Now, my mom is in that age group, and when I asked her what she goes to YouTube for, it was tutorials on how to do stuff around her house. So she goes to figure out like hummingbird food recipes, and all of a sudden in retirement, she's become a bird lady. So she looked to find different bird recipes for other types of birds. So she's not necessarily shopping. She's shopping on Facebook though. And 65 and up, YouTube and Facebook again. So if you're seeing a trend here, Facebook is still a pretty big leader, but Instagram's creeping up. You're not seeing a whole lot of TikTok on here outside of 18 to 29. Next. And then what are the generations? Megan and I love to talk about this. So in the comments, I want everyone to kind of chime in on what generation you are. So there's one generation that's not mentioned on here, and that is the new generation of Gen Beta. And that is anyone born to 2025 and up. So I just had a baby December 2024, so I almost had a Gen Beta, and I might still, because these numbers kind of shift as the generations grow. But, you know, baby boomers, 1946 to 1964, Generation X, 1965 to 1980, millennials, 1980 to 1994, Generation Z, 1995 to 2009, and Gen Alpha, 2010 to 2024. Guys, I hate to break it to you, but all the time I hear, oh, those kids, Gen Z, blah, 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 blah. Gen Z turns 30 this year, you guys, so you can't be blaming everything on Gen Z anymore. You're really talking about Gen Alpha. So in the chat, talk about what generation you come from. We love to see those statistics, and we'll talk about it at the end. Megan, what generation are you?
I'm Gen Z, so I don't like the Gen Z slander. We're getting older, I promise. It's Generation Alpha that's the scary one now.
Yes. And I was there when I started. I am a millennial. I used to go to conferences in 2013 and defend millennials. So I was there with you. Like, I understand.
It's a
Um,
gray area for us. We're one and the same.
yeah, yeah. We're defensive of our positions. Um, so really kind of think about it and think about who you're marketing to. If you're Generation X, think about what you like when you're out there marketing on and what sells you on travel. Same with baby boomers. My mom is a retiree, so I asked her on many levels of what she looks for, and she said she wants to see real people and real ads, and she wants to see her travel advisor on those pages. She actually snoops, you guys. When I share you all on Instagram, she then goes and looks at your pages and she follows you all. And she says when she sees advisors who aren't in their own content, she doesn't trust what they post. So that is from a traveler who is traveling all the time, following you all. And she says if she doesn't see you in the content, she doesn't trust what you're selling. So from a retiree, baby boomer, there you go. All right, with that, I'm going to pass it over to our resident Gen Zer. Megan, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Okay, guys, so we are going to kind of jump into what Branch Up is and how you can really elevate your content while using it. So, what you're looking at here is actually Mary Pat, who we have on the call. This is from her page, and this is one of our Branch Up posts from ALG. So, as you can see, it really is a great use of the platform for putting out sales. That is one of the biggest things you'll see come from ALG specifically. And something that we always talk about, especially with Branch Up, is this content is fantastic. This is a great way to kind of put out the word of what sales are going on, what you're going to sell to your clients, and these are great shareables too. So with this, how can you maximize Branch Up? Maybe you've been on it for a couple of years. Maybe you're just looking to get started and trying to figure out what the benefit is. And what we kind of want to talk about is how you really elevate this content. So this is great. This is a great way to show your clients what sales are going on, what's going on in the travel world, specialized destinations. But what do you do after this post goes up? How do you maximize using this? So with this example, this is about a sale for HIC. So what we kind of did is we built a mock post, and we will actually walk through how to do it very specifically. But what you can do to really maximize is when you go into Branch Up and you pick what posts are going up, kind of look to see what you're really talking about that month, what's going up on your page. Maybe you're talking about a lot of Cancun travel. So what you can do is you can find a video, an image, something about Cancun, and we'll actually show you how to find this in 360 specifically, which you have access to through ALG Vacations. And what you can do is really put a follow-up post to whatever Branch Up is auto posting to your page to really maximize your clients and really kind of reel them in. So this example here is a destination vacation video, and this is specifically on Cancun. So this is a great follow-up. There's so many HICs in Cancun. It's an easy destination for people to get to. And it's really, videos are very visually appealing. The algorithm plays well into videos. And what we did is we created this post to be super simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to have a really big, long caption. In fact, the algorithm and most people really prefer a shorter caption. The quicker you can get out what you need to get out and they can read super fast, the better anymore. People's attention spans are really getting smaller and smaller, is kind of what we're seeing. So stick to a small caption, but there are 3 things you really want to try and get in there. And the first thing is a hook. So we kind of define a hook as something that is designed to grab the attention of your viewer. So if they're scrolling through Facebook, what is really going to grab them? Is it the video? Is it the image? Is it the text? You really have to kind of cover your bases. And so we always recommend having a hook as your very first item. And you can really think of this as your headline, because you want it to be eye-catching. Again, people can scroll through super fast and they might not see it, they might not catch on to it. But if you have something in there that really grabs them and kind of piques their curiosity, this is the best way to grab people super quick. It makes them want to read the rest of your caption. So if you can grab them from the start, they're more likely to keep reading than if they see a super big caption and that first sentence doesn't really grab their attention. And this can be whatever it needs to be to go with the photo or video that you're posting. So on this one, we did ready to use that PTO for waves and tacos. It grabs your attention. The PTO is capitalized, so it's also just a little bit more eye-catching as they're scrolling. People love to think about themselves on vacation, eating a taco poolside. It really just kind of makes them visualize themselves in this scenario. So you can really pull different hooks. You can use different ways. You can think of them yourself. You can pull up ChatGPT to ask you to create some hooks, but you want them to be short and catchy. Now, the second thing you want to have in this is an engaging question. Something we get asked all the time is, how do you boost your engagement? How do you get people to interact with your post? You really have to kind of guide them to do it. So if you have an engaging question in there, people are more likely to comment than if you don't. You really are directing that question that invites them to comment. If they go on and, this one, for example, says, what's your dream Cancun vibe? But some other ones you could do is, what would you choose? What's your dream travel destination? People will comment. You almost just really have to think about it in the way of asking them to with this question. And we always kind of like to say that social media is a conversation. And so if you do ask an engaging question in your caption, and you start getting a couple of comments of people telling you what their favorite resort in Cancun is, what their favorite vacation they've been on. Go through and comment back to them, because the more they comment and you comment back, you're starting that conversation, and this is going to boost your post visibility, and it's going to build relationships with your clients or whoever is viewing your page, because they're going to know that you're a real person, you're commenting back, you're engaging with them, and then they're more likely to keep doing this on your other post. So it's really just kind of guiding them to do what you want them to do. Now, the third and final thing we always say to include in your caption is a call to action. This is your clear direction, and it tells your audience what you want them to do next. So when you have that branch up post go out and you have that great deal that's shown, and then you have a video showing the destination that deal is to, you have to tell them what you want them to do after that. So whatever your booking engine is, if you want them to shoot you a DM, if you want them to go to a link in your bio, if you want them to view a link directly, you could add a link to Facebook right here where it says DM me for details. You have to tell them where you want them to go, because if you don't direct them, say you get a brand new person who views your post. They've never booked with you. They don't really know what a travel advisor is. If you tell them that they can DM you or they can view this link to book with you, they are 100 times more likely to click on that or to DM you because you told them that they can. If they don't directly know where to go, what the next step is, they aren't going to do it. So the more you direct them, the better it is to pull in those new clients. Again, whatever that looks like, you can put a link directly here. You should always have a link if you have a website in your bio. You can put it here. Whatever that looks like for you, that's where you want them to go. Now, we are going to go through and directly build that same exact post just so you guys can see how quick you can do this. So, ALGV 360. You guys should be looking at my ALGV 360 page now. So when you come into this, you're going to see all of our different brands that we have. Now, say you just know that you want specifically a destination. You can search Cancun. And then when you hit enter, you're going to see all of these different assets that we have for that destination. You can see which one is a video, you can see which one is an image, and this one specifically is what we used for this post. So destination vacation in Cancun. We have different sizes of items. You can really just kind of search for whatever it is you need, and then you would download that item. And you can download directly from 360 and pull whatever kind of content you need. So if you're looking for follow-up posts with Branch Up, you have that amazing sale to Cancun, and then you can come to 360 and pull very directly that video to follow up with that post. And then you're going to go to Facebook, and you're going to build a post. So right here on your page, you'll just click your post. And then you want to make sure and add in that video. And then it'll load that video. And then this again is just super simple where you want to pull whatever your hook is. So we did ready to use that PTO for waves and tacos. You're going to hit enter to make a space. And then again, you want to have your question. What's your dream Cancun vibe? And then the most important part, whatever you want to have them do directly after. If you have a link here, if you have a website, if you have a link to a form, or if you just want them to send you a DM, that's where you're going to put that right there. And then if you want to add any emojis, you could put a happy face, a party, whatever you want, just to kind of pull people in. We recommend not doing too many of these. Sometimes it can look a little not yourself. So this is all you have to do to create that post. It took seconds to walk through. Grab a video from 360, type up a caption, again, super short, keep it under 60 to 90 characters is all this is going to be. And then when you hit next, you want to make it public, and you'll just hit post. And then that is directly up on your Facebook. It just took us a couple of minutes to go through and do that. All you had to do was look up your Branch Up post, see what your Branch Up is talking about, and then go pull something from 360, pull something from what you already have, and then put that as your follow-up post just to keep your clients engaged with what's being auto-posted to your page. All right, we are going to
And
talk to, oops, go ahead, Sarah.
oh, Megan, let me just add, we have a lot of people asking in the comments how to sign up for 360. It's ALGV360.com. And right there on that page, it says sign up. You just put in your email and create a password, and you will get an activation email.
Perfect. I'm glad everyone is interested in it. It's a great platform. We have a ton of content in there. We have a social tab on its own. We have our own tips and tricks that Sarah and I have put in there. So it is a great platform to explore if you haven't been in it before. All right, we are going to bring up Mary Pat Caskey from Divine Travel Company. Mary, we just kind of wanted to talk to you and kind of get your perspective on why you started using BranchUp. What drew you to the platform?
Like most people in travel these days, or many anyway, I am an independent travel consultant. So I have to do everything for my business. And as I was anticipating travel coming back after COVID, I saw an ad for BranchUp, and it intrigued me because it would take some of the burden of social media posting off my desk, I guess. Um, and it has turned out to do just that and a whole bunch more. I have found that adding my actual email address into some of my posts versus leaving it for DMs has been particularly helpful if I am working with somewhat older clients. Messaging on Facebook is not their favorite way to communicate with someone. Um, I always invite people to share my posts. I share my posts with my personal page, and I actually have co-opted my daughters into sharing them to their pages as well, just to make sure they get more distribution. The one thing I've really appreciated is the dashboard. I like to see what's coming up so I can edit the posts, but also so I can look a little smarter. Every once in a while, I've missed a post and someone contacts me, and I'm kind of going, "Oh, that was bad." So I like always sort of looking like I know what I'm doing.
So when you started, Mary, did you always from the jump kind of start editing those branch up posts? Did you put your email in there from the start? Did you edit the captions, or did it take you a while to realize that that was beneficial for you?
It took me a while. At first I was wondering why I wasn't getting any engagement or as much as I was expecting. And then I realized that by adding another way to contact me, it really boosted the connectivity.
Mary, how many people would you say reach out to you from your post?
I think it depends on the post, but I probably get at least 5 or 6 people to come to actually chat with me about it, and more people than that to like it.
Which is a great number per post, especially when it's really doing the work for you. Do you feel like you've started to kind of add posts similar to what we just discussed to follow up to coincide with the branch up postings, or do you feel like you still rely mostly on the branch up postings themselves?
I'm starting to do that. I realized that I needed to expand the content and what you were talking about earlier about having a hook. I think that that was really important, and video seems to be the absolutely best way to do that.
Yes. Well, you seem to have figured out all the little tips from Branch Up, which I think is wonderful. I think that's a great way to keep doing it, especially since you've been doing it for so many years. How do you kind of keep going with Branch Up and advance your content? So it's great to hear that as a firsthand example.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mary. We appreciate you popping on, and we might bring you back in for some of those Q&As at the end, but we will just keep it going here. And we are going to talk about our top 5 ways ChatGPT can be used to boost Facebook engagement. And I am going to pull Sarah back in for this one.
All right. So if you missed our webinar on ChatGPT, last month, we did host one. It is on the ALGV Self-Help Library, and it's also part of our ALGV Social Media Pro courses that I mentioned in the beginning of the session. But here is a little cheat sheet on the top 5 ways you can use ChatGPT, aka AI, to help boost your Facebook engagement. So in the comments, I saw a lot of people saying that they had trouble getting comments and engagement. I will say in your follow-up post to your branch up post that you're using, if you create an additional post, using your own content will definitely always help. So when you're writing your hook, in your caption, think about these things. Write short, scroll-stopping captions. 40 to 80 characters is really what the algorithm favors on Facebook. So using ChatGPT to turn a long message into a punchy, concise copy that grabs attention in the feed, that is a great way to use AI. Ask for help in editing down to what matters most and make it fast. So using the caption that you have or the caption that you want, plugging that into the AI tool and asking it to shorten it to make it 80 characters in length is a great way to use that tool because it's what you want to say, but it will just shorten it down for you. And you don't always have to take the first thing it gives you. You can ask for different versions. You can ask for it to make it more fun or more eye-catching or more Mexican themed or whatever your tone, your voice is. If you're advertising for, let's say, Aspen in the winter, you can ask for it to make it more cozy. Anything that you want to do, you just tell that tool what you want it to do. And the more information you give it, the better it will turn out for you and what you want. So you don't always have to take the first option. Keep plugging in information. You can use it to refresh repetitive content without rewriting from scratch. So you can prompt the tool to reword existing posts to keep them fresh while maintaining a brand. So let's say you have a promotion going all month long. You want to use the same graphic. You want to refresh the caption. There you go. That's a great way to use the same caption, but make it a little more fresh. Number 3, create attention-grabbing hooks for videos. So you can use ChatGPT to brainstorm 1 to 2 sentences for intro hooks to draw viewers into the first 3 seconds of a 30 to 60-minute video. So hooks aren't just always in a caption. Sometimes it's what is on a video when you're creating content. And when you're creating a video, which if you don't know how, again, it's in that it's in the ALGV Social Media Pro course. You only have 3 seconds to capture attention. So by creating that hook in the very beginning on the top of the video, that's a great way to draw in focus and get someone to stop scrolling and look at your video. So using ChatGPT to come up with ideas for that is a great way to use the tool. Number 4 is generate hashtags. No more than 3 to 5 max on your hashtags. That is the current recommendation. We used to say 5 to 10, but the current recommendation for 2025 is no more than 3 to 5. And you have to think of them as keyword research because keywords are really is going to make your post pop. So when hashtags first started, people used them as like ending words for things. So like hashtag ice cream, hashtag we can't wait, hashtag this, hashtag that. No, it needs to be like hashtag Mexico travel, hashtag passport to paradise. Like it needs to be something that's relevant to what you are posting. You'll notice that we always use hashtag ask a travel advisor. That's because that is our brand. Our Instagram account and our Facebook account is Ask a Travel Advisor. So that is the one we use because it is identifying our brand. You all should have a hashtag for your agency that you are always using, and then the other 4 should always be referencing what you're posting. So don't waste space on things that don't reference your post. And then number 5 is repurpose different content for different audiences or objectives. So if you're posting on multiple platforms, don't use the same caption, guys. Really change it up and ask the tool to create a caption for Pinterest, a caption for TikTok, a caption for Instagram, because they are different platforms that need different keywords. You shouldn't be using the same thing everywhere. I know we all get short on time, but the tool will do it all for you at the same time. So you can have it tailor the message differently for the same type of inspiration. And then bonus tips, no emojis. Stop using emojis. It's the number one way your platform knows that you're using AI, and it will automatically knock it out of the algorithm. And I know you're using AI because your post will be 4,000 characters long and it will have 27 hashtags. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. One emoji is fine. I don't need to see 47 emojis. Keep your tone professional yet conversational at all times. You notice that we asked a question in our caption. The question creates engagement because then you want people to answer you. And that's how you kind of get comments on your page, right? The other way to boost your engagement is to get people to share your content. So you want them to share it to a story, share it with their friends. So you could say something like, tag a friend that would like this vacation, or tag a buddy that would you want to go on this trip with you, or share this video with a friend who you think would also like this drink. Something like that. You want to create that engagement, so you have to direct that narrative. It won't just come. You have to tell people what to do. Ask ChatGPT to match the tone and voice of your style. Don't post and ghost. That's my last bonus tip. You have to engage back. The first hour could be difficult depending on your day, but create time every single morning where you post and then you go back and engage with anyone who commented on your post the day before or like any comments. So if you can put a like and then comment on a post, that's the best way to engage. And then cross engage. Go like or comment on 5 other posts that are relative to the same type of business you do. So cross engagement is just as important as engaging on your own. All right, next.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. So we are going to kind of walk through some of our myths of social media. So these are kind of some questions or kind of some statements that Sarah and I see all the time that we like to just kind of clear up from the jump. So our first myth is that you need to be on every platform. This is not true. We always say that showing up consistently and strategically on maybe one, maybe 2 platforms, wherever your audience is totally fine. You don't have to stretch yourself too thin and put yourself on every platform just because somebody else is doing it or just because somebody else has seen success with it. If you see Facebook as your main source of getting new clients, it's where your current clients are, it's your best way to get your information out there, just stick to Facebook, maybe try Instagram. You don't have to be on every single platform to be successful. Another myth we get all the time is that more followers equals more success. This is absolutely not true, especially with social media. I think a lot of people in their minds think that followers means that their page is doing great. It means that's who's getting all of the new clients. It's really engagement. Engagement is far more important than your follower account. And the best way to think about this is that you may have 300 followers, but you might look at somebody else's page that has 10,000 and you might think that they're doing so much better than you and they probably get all these new clients, they probably get so many inquiries from their post, but really of those 10,000, maybe only 100 of them reach out, but maybe all 300 of yours reach out to you. So it's not always more about how many followers you have, it's how many kind of good and loyal true followers that you have. So a great way to think about that is, is your followers really real people reaching out to you, booking trips with you, when sometimes those huge numbers of follower counts, they don't have nearly what you have. So it kind of it can mess with your head a little bit, it can be a little bit misleading, but engagement is really what you want to look at. Another one is that posting every day is the only way to grow. No. Posting has to be with what you can keep up with because quality is better than quantity. So if you can keep up with once a week, twice a week, every other day. If you can keep up with posting every day, that's great. But you don't want to experience burnout. If you start posting every single day and you can only keep it up for a month or two, and then you kind of realize you don't have any more content until you travel next. So then maybe you don't post until the next 2 months. It's so much better to take that content that you were going to post every single day and spread it out throughout those months. Consistency is just really what you kind of want to stick with. Find whatever works for you. Find really what your viewers like to view. If posting every day is too much and you start to see kind of your engagement go down, pull back and post a little bit less and see if that engagement goes up. Another thing is that social media marketing is free. And it is, but it isn't. So yes, posting can cost nothing. Some people can put money behind it, but in the relative sense, it costs you nothing. But it does take a lot of your time, which is why Branch Up is such a great platform, because it does do some of that for you, but you still have to put in a little bit of time for researching, going into it, picking your post, whether it's you creating your own ads, if you use any professional support, if you use any content tools, there are things that go into it. So yes, while it is free, it is a little bit of time taking away from you, or whatever it is that you are using to make content. Social media is only for promotion. No. Something Sarah and I say all the time is that if you really are just selling yourself on your page, you're going to turn your followers away a little bit. The biggest thing we can tell you is to build trust. If you can kind of create this relationship between you and your followers, if they know that you are a real person and it's not just an ad every single day, they want to see some of your own travels. They want to see what you're doing behind the scenes. You can kind of put in a little bit of education just to kind of show them what you do. When you're off on a fam trip or whatever professional development you're doing, people like to see that side of things, and it only adds into your reliability as a travel advisor that's trying to sell them something. So yes, you want to have the sales. Those are great to post, but mix in a little bit of your own personal as well too. You need professional photos or videos to succeed. No. Those are great if you have very polished images and videos. They are fantastic to put up, but something you'll see pretty often, it'll be that one post or that one video you post that you took no time into editing, you filmed super quick, you even probably debated putting it up, and that's going to do so much better than that one that you took weeks to plan, it took you hours to film and edit, and you think it's going to do great. So just kind of try everything. Don't knock something because you think it doesn't look good enough, but it's just really kind of a gamble of what's going to do well on social and what's going to perform better. But don't knock yourself if you don't have any professional photos or videos. Authentic content is so important. Another myth is that if a post doesn't go viral, it failed. Viral content, while it is great and it can lead to new followers, it doesn't mean that that's making a connection for you. It doesn't mean that it's going to lead to messages. So a lot of times you'll kind of see someone who really just posts something with the goal of getting followers. But again, like we said, followers don't equal clients. So yes, well, a viral content piece is great. You want to make sure you have all those pieces in there of booking with you, of making sure they know where to go. Otherwise, those followers might not even go to your page to realize that you are a travel advisor that could help them with that, whatever video went viral. So just something to keep in mind. If you're feeling a little bit bummed out about not getting enough views, just know that that doesn't mean it's not being viral isn't always the goal. Another myth is that everyone already knows what I offer. So while you might feel like you're repeating yourself, a lot of your audience isn't going to see what you post, especially if you're posting every day, multiple times a day. Really, with the algorithm and just how often people are on social media, they might not see what you're posting. So back to showing, the branch up post of the sale, following it up with a couple of other posts, that's really what's going to kind of bring them back in to see that back on your page. So don't feel like you are completely repeating yourself, because there's a good chance that your audience isn't going to see everything you post. So just keep that in mind when thinking about what you are posting and how many times you post it. All right. And then just from us to you, kind of some of what our social platforms are so you can connect with us. You can find us on Facebook at ALG Vacations and Instagram. And then you can also find our page, Ask a Travel Advisor. These are great shareables whereas our ALGV page is more sales and promotions. We are also on TikTok as Ask a Travel Advisor ALGV. And then some of our platforms to help out you guys. We have a Pinterest page at ALG Vacations, and this is really curated content that we have done the research for you. We have folders of pose ideas, faceless content if you don't want to be in your content, content calendars, viral hooks to use. And so that's a great one to explore. We have our LinkedIn page, which is where we post more of our industry news, like Sarah talked about earlier. And then we also have our Amazon storefront, which is the QR code there at the bottom. And this is for you and your clients. If you're needing something off Amazon or your clients are asking for advice on what to get for their trip, we've really curated all of these items into folders specifically, whether it's suitcases or give back items, maybe excursion essentials. And all of the proceeds that we get from our storefront go back to our give back initiatives as well. So these are our platforms. Feel free to follow us, and we love to follow back and watch you guys as well too. And then we are just going to jump into our Q&A. I think Sarah has been watching you guys in the chat. Sarah, do we have any questions?
Yes, so I'm going to start kind of bottom up. Everyone keep writing in your questions as we go. So the first couple ones I saw are a lot of our advisors are having trouble getting engagement, getting comments on their post. Megan, what's your best advice for that?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to that leading question, but also what Sarah said about cross engagement. You guys really are your own best friends, and going through to maybe different advisor pages, going through to your suppliers. If you follow them and you like and you comment, just from even our standpoint, like we see that. We see you tagging us in different content. We see you commenting on our stuff, and we're more likely to hit that follow back button. We're more likely to hit that share button. So the more you can really put yourself out there to other people, they will notice that. They'll start commenting back on your stuff. They'll start engaging. So it's really kind of a two-way street in relationships. And I feel like in this industry as a whole, but especially on social media, it's kind of like helping out one another. So really kind of trying to make it a priority to go through once a day, once every other day, just kind of scroll through your feed, comment on things. It also plays back into that algorithm that we like to talk about so much, and it's more likely to favor you if you're active in it as well.
All right, this next question is going to be from Mary Pat. How can we make our branch up post stand out more? Facebook sees it as duplicated media and they've been monitoring and removing posts.
Mm. Yeah, so I think kind of back to, I think Mary Pat actually talked about this a little bit too, really taking the time to go in and pick your post and just make those small edits, make those small changes of adding in your email, adding in your website, whatever it is you want people to go to. Changing it up just enough will really help you. And then also with that, you can add in your own hooks to those too. So while maybe the image is the same, the link is the same, you can really change that caption to include what you want, but also change it just enough. And another great tool, which you talked about, Sarah, would be ChatGPT. You could even take that caption that's given to you and you could put it into ChatGPT and just tell it to create a similar caption, but keep, maybe the price point the same or whatever is the most important from that caption, keep those items the same, but change up this caption to be different. And something as simple as just tossing it into ChatGPT, it putting out a different form of it, that might help you get not flagged from Facebook as well.
And Mary Pat, would you have any further suggestions on that?
I think just again staying on top of what is posted for you has been really valuable for me, just to know what's being put out there and to be able to expand on it if I need to.
Okay. All right. And then we did ask what generation everyone was from, and we have a lot of Gen X, baby boomers, and millennials. So well represented. And we have a few that say they're millennials but identify as an Xer. And I will say there's a little wiggle room on those lines.
We love that gray area, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then what is PTO? We had a lot of questions on that. That's paid time off or personal time off, depending what your company motto is. But everybody out there should be using their paid time off. I'm a big advocate of that.
It's a great, I see it a lot in people's content talking about using your PTO. It's kind of a reminder for people to actually take that vacation. And again, just kind of something that catches their eye.
All right. What does a hashtag do? I love this question, so I'm going to take it. So a hashtag is a tracking device in many, many ways. Number one, if you click on it, it will take you to every single post that someone has used that hashtag. So anytime I click on the hashtag travel advisors get you there, which is our other company hashtag, it will take me to every single post that somebody has used that hashtag with. So it's an automatic tracking device. That's why when we do a send or we do FAMs, we ask everyone to use that hashtag. Number two, it actually feeds the algorithm. That's why we call it keyword research. So right now, fall is trending. I don't know if you all are fall or Halloween junkies like I am, but Ogtober is the thing right now. So it's feeding into the algorithm every time someone uses that hashtag Ogtober. And so then all of a sudden your feed is filled with all those things if you use that hashtag. So it feeds that algorithm. That's why we call it keyword research. And it's trending up. So if you're going to use hashtags and you're looking for things that are trending, you want to use things that are trending up. So if you were to search ChatGPT for that and you were asking it for travel hashtags for Mexico, Cancun travel, you would want it for trending up hashtags for that destination. The up part is really important because that's going to tell you what is currently in trend, not just hashtags that have been used a million times. So very, very important in multiple ways because it's a tracker, but it's also an algorithm feeder and it puts your post into play.
I think that's another great way, Sarah, on the question of how can they customize their content since it's getting flagged. Adding in your own hashtags is another great way to make it your own and make it a little bit more searchable as well.
All right. So the next question we're getting is, can I connect branch up to my personal page? No, it has to be a business page. All right. And then is it better to have a business page, a personal page, or a group page, Megan?
We do get we get this question pretty often. We highly recommend having a separate personal and business page for a couple of different reasons. The first one is just it's better to differentiate them. It makes you have a little bit more credibility in the sense of if someone's coming to your page, well, yes, we do agree you should put some personal on there. It shouldn't be all personal with a small mix of business. It should be mostly business with a small mix of personal. So if you have a personal page, it really is just better to separate them. It helps you with your posting. You don't feel like you can't share something because you have a bunch of clients on your page. It's better to just direct them to a business page. The other reason we say to have a business page is because you can actually make it a business page, which when you do that in your settings, you unlock Meta Business Suite, which has a really great platform of just a bunch of different things. You can see your analytics. It's a free content calendar posting. So if you are someone who likes to plan things out in advance, you can schedule things to go out. So if you make it a business page, yes, it's better in the sense of keeping things separate, but you also unlock a lot of tools having a business page. Having a groups page, I would say that's more totally preference to you. I don't think it won't boost your page in the sense of being visible on other people's pages, especially if it's a private group. They are great to have because it builds up that engagement with whoever's in it, your current followers already. But again, whatever you can keep up with in posting, it is kind of just a second step. So if you can keep up with it and you think you have a lot of good engagement in a private group, totally go for it.
All right. The next one is we're being told to join 10 groups a day. Have you heard this?
Ooh, I
I
have
have not.
mm-mm. That seems like
Um,
that's very interesting to me because I think it's a lot to keep up with, and I think it's your groups are going to start to flood your feed. What are your
yeah,
thoughts, Sarah?
I don't know how that would help because it's not going to help your engagement. So I would not advocate for that. I would just continue the cross engagement by supporting other advisors or suppliers' actual posts in your timeline.
Completely agree.
All right. Can I link branch up to my Meta calendar? Maureen, I do not know that answer.
Hello. Yeah, no, for the personal accounts, we're not using that, and I don't think we can set the auto posting with the Meta calendar.
All right. You can, however, use Meta Business for any follow-up posts that you want to create, any ALGV 360, or any of your own personal curated content that you want to work in conjunction with your branch up posts. So you can still work with it on that if you know when your branch up content is posting.
Okay.
Megan, are hashtags like a domain? What
Mm,
are hashtags?
yeah, so that's kind of a tricky question. Yes and no. So hashtags, kind of like Sarah talked about, really the best way to think about them is what we would call SEO, which is your search engine optimization. So it's a domain in the sense of if you click on it, you're going to see every piece of content that's been posted under that hashtag, but it's really just to help your algorithm and your tracking. So, for example, maybe you have a hashtag that's for your business. So, maybe like Mary Pat, she has hashtag divine travel. Anytime she clicks on that hashtag and she sees kind of what's been posted to it, if you tell your clients when they're on their vacations, if they can, tag you, use your hashtag, it's a great way to track those. But also, it makes you searchable. So, for example, if somebody goes to Google and they search divine travel, if Mary Pat's posted all of her posts with that hashtag, those have the opportunity to pop up in Google. They have the opportunity to pop up if somebody's searching Facebook or Instagram. Really, the goal with social media is to make yourself as searchable as possible. If somebody searches travel advisor in whatever area you're in, travel advisor in Colorado, you want to be what pops up. So, in the sense of a domain of you're trying to become very visible to people who are searching for travel in a very niche kind of way, which can be a little bit tough when you're thinking about your hashtags. But for example, if you're posting a room tour, you're just posting about you want to use whatever hashtags are relevant. So you want to hashtag the resort. So if somebody's searching up a resort, your video is what pops up, which leads them back to your page to book with you. So that's really the best way to think about it is how does somebody find you and your post when searching?
Wow. My goodness, Sarah, Megan, you are a wealth of information, I have to say. And I just want to give everybody a heads up that we're at the 1 hour mark, and we want to respect everybody's time. So thank you very much for all of that. And if there's any other questions, as we mentioned earlier, they will be addressed. Three things I pulled away from that was differentiate, enhance, and engage. So when you think of it, branch up gives is the bones that ALG Vacations has joined into, so it gives you somewhere to start, your starting point to start enhance, differentiate, and engage. So this has been a great hour, ladies. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to the next time.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Mary, Mary Pat, you take care as well. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time.